How I discovered my husband is gay during the coronavirus lockdown. Austin and I have been married for a little over 2 years now. All this time, I had never had any reason to doubt his orientation. He never did anything utterly suspicious. He was normal, enjoyed his sports, not football but tennis, and never underperformed in bed. Well, maybe I'm a perfect judge of that because I'd usually prefer intimate activities, short, simple, and stress free. And because I was completely romantically attracted to him, I've never had any reason to complain of him not satisfying me in bed. There were times he gave excuses why he didn't want intimacy, but he always made up for it in the coming days or weeks. He would sometimes travel and stay a day or two for business, but this never caused any issue. I mean, it's normal that a normal working adult would sometimes stay away from home, isn't it? I'm just now beginning to realize that because there was freedom of movement then, he could go anywhere he wanted and hang out with anybody he wanted to. I wasn't aware of those people he hung with or any of those places he went. It wasn't like I was monitoring him or anything like that. But I guess with the recent lockdown law and its attendant restriction of movement, he was obviously helplessly stuck with me in the house for 14 whole days. This meant I had enough time with him to notice things I previously might not have noticed before, like the strange phone calls, for instance. Someone would call him, someone I was sure was another man, and they would be on the phone for a really long time. Not talking business or sports like most guys, but personal stuff, when last either of them had been intimate, and things like that. I could tell too, he didn't find discussing those topics with fellow guys utterly normal from the way his voice always remained muted while on the phone. Still, I never cared that much about the phone calls. We are dealing with the pandemic, and it is enough to put people off their normal behavior, I thought to myself. I also then noticed that my husband was finding it difficult to keep up in the bed. I mean, the whole lockdown stuff, the need for congress and intimacy sort of rose up. My girlfriends, some of who are also married, tell me how they have been doing nothing else other than being intimate and sleep and watch movies with their partners. But Austin and we're not like that. I could always sense a feeling of hesitation each time I tried to be intimate with him, or even tried to kiss him for a long time. There was something else he was missing, something not currently in our home that can only be found outside. As a smart woman, I played things cool and avoided raising any suspicions or arguments until that night. I had overheard my husband tell his caller on the phone to call back in like an hour. I quickly realized this was the time he hoped that I would be asleep. So I gave him what he wanted. I slept off early, snoring away in oblivion. I knew when my husband crept out of the room and entered the guest bed bathroom. I waited some time before following him, and there it was, all bare. My husband was in the middle of a steamy video chat with one dude like that. They were showing each other their erect male organisms and naked behinds, and the man from the other end was telling my husband what he would do to him intimately when the lockdown was over. He told my husband he was going to eat him hard, and my husband replied, "Yes, baby." He told my husband he was going to give it to him hot and deep, and my husband replied, "Damn, baby." And then said, "I'm going to tap that, yeah?" And to this, my house screamed in ecstasy. Oh, damn it, Alex. In the morning, I confronted my husband. He wanted to lie at the beginning, but then he opened up and told me the truth. What are we going to do now? I asked him. Can we at least wait till this coronavirus thing is over and we know if we're alive or dead? He said. I nodded. Okay, I said. Surprisingly, I don't feel so gross. I mean, it wasn't like I caught him cheating with another woman. It was a different race here. All those things that man from the video call was promising to do to my husband, which my husband clearly wanted, it wasn't like I was capable of doing any of those things to him. So it's not fair competition here. I lost even without trying, but with some pride and dignity. I honestly blame our government. Just imagine the hundreds and thousands of women in my shoes in this country whose husbands have been forced to live a lie just to stay free from the murdering tongues of society and the irrational damnation of the government. Real names were not used in this story. That ends the conclusion on how I discovered my husband is gay during the coronavirus lockdown. What are your thoughts? She says she couldn't compete. There's nothing that she could do. Could she have done something more to give her husband what he wanted? Should she have confronted him before the morning when she heard him on that phone call? Should she have done something right then and there? Do you think that she's taking this way too relaxed? Do you agree with her? A lot of comments are telling her that she should contact the Straight Spouse Network. It's apparent that a lot of people are going through this. This isn't something that is completely abnormal. A lot of people are in relationships with people that are gay or bisexual. The only reason why these people are marrying is to keep up appearances or to keep others at bay while they live a certain type of lifestyle behind the scenes. But again, what do you think about this story? I'm interested to hear your thoughts, your comments below. Appreciate it.